Do you spend hours each week creating Instagram content, but you're still not getting the sales and the wins that you see everyone and their mom sharing to their feed? It's really rough. But there's usually just a few simple changes you need to make to get there, and I'm going to help you. You are closer than you think. You can find the exact gaps that you have in your Instagram strategy, the gaps that are holding you back from getting clients from your content, with my free Find and Fix the Gaps in Your Instagram Strategy quiz. All you have to do is take 5 minutes to fill out the quiz, and you will get the exact roadmap you need to start getting sales from your Instagram content. Get your copy of the quiz at sociallyyours.biz/findandfixed. All spelled out, all one word, find and fixed. Or check the link in the show notes. Welcome to the Mompreneur Mastery podcast, where we share actionable Instagram strategies that fit into a busy mom's schedule so that you can get more engagement, more leads, and more sales in less time so you can spend more quality time with your family. I'm Sydney O'Brien, an Instagram strategist who started my business with 3 kids under 5 and found a way to do it without sacrificing quality time with my family and only working 2 to 3 hours a day. I love helping other mom business owners find that seemingly impossible mom work-life balance instead of spending too much time creating content that isn't getting them the results they want. If you're an overwhelmed but very ambitious business owner and you want to strategize the heck out of your Instagram account so that you can save time and make more sales, you're in the right place. So today is actually a topic that someone suggested in my Instagram stories, and I'm really excited about it. So I asked what topics would be helpful for people, and someone replied with, a lot of people agreed with, I should do an episode about how to sit down and actually make the damn content. I thought that was a very interesting way to put it, just because, I don't know, I like making content, but I guess that's my job. Job I made for myself. So of course I like it. And apparently a lot of you don't. So let's see if we can fix that. Or at least get you a little more used to it so you can use it for your business. And I think I've honestly made a mistake in making it seem like a little overwhelming. Yes, there is a strategy and lots of tiny tips and tricks to make it perform as best as it possibly can. But at its core, it is kind of simple. And I don't think enough of my content has reflected that. And maybe it's a little overwhelming. Maybe I make it seem like it's really overwhelming with all the different things I share. So it feels like this is a good opportunity for me to show that, 1, it can be fun, and 2, it can be easy, because honestly, there's never going to be a perfect post. So if that is something that's holding you back, like this perfect post paralysis, just let go of that. There's never going to be a perfect post. I will always look at stuff I make and I'm like, oh man, I should have done this a little differently. Oh man, I should have tweaked this caption more. And that's fine. They're not huge deals that are going to make a giant difference. The biggest thing for the actual sitting down and writing the damn content part would be having a purpose for that content, knowing exactly what you want to happen when you share that post. Are you sharing it to get more followers? Are you sharing it to start conversations? Are you sharing it to get market research so you can learn about what your audience needs? Are you sharing it to just connect with people so they know more about who they're talking to? Kind of figure out what the purpose of the post is. Make sure it is one single purpose for one post. And just think of a topic that's fun for you and for your audience. And if I'm being extra honest, I have been overcomplicating my own content a bit lately, and I was auditing my own content and looking back to when I had the absolute most engagement. And a lot of it was from when there was that very specific time period on Instagram where you could use a trending audio and your content would just soar and end up in new feeds of so many people and get so much engagement and so much reach. That's not a thing anymore. But I also noticed the content I was sharing that was getting a lot of engagement, I was having fun. Right now, it has been all business, 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 and not showing a lot of me. And when you're a solopreneur, like, you are very much a part of the business. Obviously, you are the business. You are your brand. And I kind of like that because I would rather, be friends with the person I'm supporting. And so sharing more of you, your passions, your interests, the way you work is always beneficial. And doing it in a fun way, it'll speak more to your audience than just these very formatted type of posts. Now, don't get me wrong. The strategy posts are important, but you need to have a healthy mix of both, for sure, because you're not going to go anywhere without that connection. The needle of your business is not going to get moved through your Instagram content if you don't have that connection with your audience. So I was recently planning my August content because I batch a month at a time. And at the beginning of the month, when I start planning things, I always look back and review insights, do a quick audit. And I have decided that I am going to do more posts that I think are fun and that I enjoy and show more of myself in my content. I haven't done that in a while, and it just feels necessary to re-engage with my audience. So yeah, I guess that would be thing number 1. Have fun with it. Number 2, know the purpose. Make sure it aligns with what you're actually working on in your business. And then, just making sure you have a very singular purpose. I get caught up in this a lot myself, and I see it in other people's content, but trying to do too much in one post is a lot, because you got to remember, no one is on social media to be sold to. It certainly happens a lot now, but that's not the purpose behind social media. If you want to make the most of your content for your business, you do need to have fun with it, make it enjoyable for your audience, and also make it so simple. There's a saying, you confuse, you lose. So have one very specific purpose, one very specific way to show that purpose, and then execute it. Because when you try to do too much in one post, you're confusing your audience, which is never good, and you're making more work for yourself. And honestly, as a mompreneur, that is the absolute last thing that you need. So make it so simple for yourself and just have one goal for each post. One goal with one topic. You can have multiple posts with this goal that have slightly variated topics. You could have multiple posts about one topic with different goals, which gives you lots of content ideas right there. So that's great. But when you're working on just one post, make it so simple and so specific. And honestly, the more specific you can get here, you can save all of those other related ideas for separate posts. And then you have a ton of post ideas to fill out your week or your month or however it is that you are planning your content. But also, the more specific you can get, the more it is going to hit home when your target audience reads it. And then they read it and they're like, it just clicks. And they're like, yeah, this is what I needed. This is what I wanted to see today. I am definitely going to follow through with whatever the heck this call to action is at the end here. The wording there is a little weird. So I'm going to give an example to make it a little more clear. When I go to create social media posts to promote this episode, I am going to think of several pain points that my audience has that this episode will help solve. And then I'm going to think of several desired outcomes that they want that this episode will help them reach. And then from there, I'm going to create very specific content that relates to each of those very specific pain points. Like one post per pain point or one post per desired outcome, with the specific purpose being, hey, comment and I'll send you the link, or go tap this link here and listen to this episode. Now the content might be a reel that shows how they can get that desired outcome by listening to the podcast, and then another might be a carousel about how they can solve one very specific pain point, again, by listening to this episode and also highlighting why it's important. And because I got this topic from asking about it in my stories, I know that it's important to people. I asked, they answered. I had a poll after I got the suggestion, and a whole bunch of people said yes, they wanted this topic. So also make sure you know your audience and what they want and what they need to succeed. I know that this is a topic that people want covered. By replying to the people that responded to my stories and starting conversations with them, I know why it's important, and I know what they're feeling around this topic so that I can, one, make this episode valuable for them, and two, using that same messaging that they used in my content, in my social media content and in this episode. Well, one, there's some solid keywords in there for search engine optimization, and two, if I'm able to use those same phrases and feelings that they used, it is going to hit home a lot more when other people who are experiencing the same things see it written out for them like that. Hopefully that gives you some clarity if your roadblock is around what to post. Now let's talk about the actual sitting down to do it piece, because I know I've experienced it, you've experienced it, every mom business owner has experienced it, the just complete lack of time to do the things that you want to do. I say this as there's like several baskets of dirty laundry right behind me that need to get washed. But again, this is where having a plan really helps, at least for me. Having some sort of plan, having that, at least that very beginning starting point, I'm much more likely to sit down and actually do the work, as opposed to if I'm feeling super overwhelmed and don't have any idea what to do. It's hard to force myself to find the time to do it if I don't even know what that first step is. Because honestly, when I have the plan, and in the very first podcast episode, I actually talked about how to batch create content. So if you haven't heard it, definitely check it out. And you might find it helpful paired with this episode. But having that plan for me is just so essential. I make it part of my routine as much as I can. And obviously there's some times where shit always goes sideways and I don't get everything done that I want to or that I need to. But again, if I have at least some of it mapped out, I can fit in, creating carousels or recording a quick reel to edit later when I can. If the kids are, magically playing independently without squabbling. But some other things that help me are, like I said, making it part of my routine. Every Monday is when I do my clients' social media work. If it's the beginning of the month, I am reviewing the past month's content, seeing what worked and what didn't, what could be tweaked, what topics hit home, which just were flops, and then using that to map out a plan. I'll plan out just the purpose of each post first. And I do this for each full-on social media management client that I have and the ones that I make content templates for. And then the next week on Monday, every Monday, and then the next Monday when it's time to do client work again, I will go in and fill in post topics, just a general outline of the post. If there's time, maybe use ChatGPT to get some caption ideas and just start to flesh out the content itself. And speaking of ChatGPT, that is a great resource I don't use it to completely outsource social media because it's a robot and it sounds like a robot. It is very obvious when you just copy and paste stuff from ChatGPT onto your emails or captions or whatever it is. Please don't do that without reviewing it, editing it first. But you can literally go into ChatGPT and explain what you do, a very specific who your audience is, and what kind of post topics could I share if you're really stuck. And if you have a purpose, definitely include that too. So your title, who you help, how you help them. If you know your brand voice, include it too. I do, and it's helped with sounding a little bit less robotic-y. And then say, I want posts that will get my clients to buy, or that will get my clients to comment. Give me 10 ideas for post topics that they will find relevant and compelling, and just see what it pops up. Keep the ones that you like, try and flesh it out a bit more, and, abandon anything. Now, other things that help. Well, we are a house full of neurodivergent people. We have to have some semblance of routine or everything goes to shit. It's not super set in stone to like the minute or the hour, but in general, we kind of have like a daily rhythm going on. And so I know every afternoon after lunch, they're going to hang out by themselves and do some independent play, and I will sit down and get some work done. And the more I'm able to stick to this routine, it not only helps me get my work done, but it's also beneficial for my kids as well. They get more and more used to it over time, know what to expect. And when I really, really don't want to do work, but it needs to get done, I will literally set a timer. It's called Focus Keeper. I have an app for it on my laptop, and I really like it because I am one of those people who will be like, oh, I'm just gonna do some research on Instagram, try and get some inspiration or find a trending reel. And like 30 minutes later, I'm still scrolling and double tapping and have like not done anything work related at all. So when I like using Focus Keeper because it's a timer, but it has like this little ticking noise in the background, and it just keeps this reminder in the back of my head like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing something. Stay on track. So that has been very helpful for me. And the very last tip I have, if you have no idea at all what to share, ask your audience. Show up in stories. You can even say, hey, I'm having a bit of a creative block when it comes to content. What do you want to see? What would you find most helpful? I've done it. I get a ton of good ideas. And then you know what you're making is something they'll find valuable. It's not something you're wasting your time on. And if you have been at it for a while, if you're not a super new business, check out your insights. What posts have gotten the most engagement? What posts have gotten the most shares, the most saves? What has worked well for you in the past? You could literally take that post, and if it's been a while, just share it again. Same exact thing. If you have new branding or something, or if it's like information based and you've learned new information, certainly update it. But there's no rule against not sharing old posts. Saves a ton of time. But reviewing insights and finding the topics that your audience engaged with gives you a great idea of what is the stuff they want to see. And you can use those same topics and maybe just do a slight reframe according to whatever the purpose of that single post is. So maybe you had a post. It's easiest for me to just use my own examples. So if I look at my insights and I see that I got a lot of engagement on a post that was about saving time, I know that obviously saving time is important to my followers. So I look back at the type of post I need to make, what the purpose is. Maybe it's to get new followers. So maybe I want a shareable post. So maybe I'll make a reel or a meme that makes fun of how little free time mompreneurs have. Like the one where the guy's like reaching toward the ball in the first box, and then in the box below it, he's still reaching towards the ball, but he's looking back and there's someone back holding him. The ball could be free time. The person would be the mompreneur, and like in that second box, the person holding them back would be like their kids asking for a snack or something. It's super relatable, very lighthearted. Memes get a ton of shares, so be sure to bring in new followers. It could be as simple as that. So I hope that some of those tips will work for you. I know different brains work in different ways, and different things are going to help different people. So I tried to share as much as I could so that you can pick and choose what you think would work best for you and your work style and lifestyle. So just to recap, it is having a purpose for the post, a very specific purpose, and then pairing it with a very specific topic, knowing your audience, making a routine, fitting it into your routine, having a plan, and using AI, insights, and or your existing audience to get inspiration for post topics. I would love it if you would DM me on Instagram and tell me which of these are most helpful for you. Which ones are you going to try? I want to hear how it works out for you. You can find me on Instagram at socially.yours.strategist. If using data from your insights to influence your Instagram strategy is something that interests you and you want to learn more about to save time and get better results, I'm actually going to be in a virtual summit talking about this exact topic. So I'll share the link in the show notes. It is from August 14th to 18th. It's a free virtual summit specifically for modern women entrepreneurs. in finding that work-life balance while preventing burnout. So again, the 14th through 17th, I'm going to be talking about getting data-driven results with insights, and I would love to see you there. Thank you so much for listening. If this content was helpful for you, if you found it valuable, I would love it if you could leave a review on Apple Podcasts so that other mom business owners can find this episode and get the same tips and strategies to support their business and their families. If you have questions or just want to connect, you can find me over on Instagram. My handle is @socially.yours.strategist. Hey Mompreneur, I know that selling your offers on Instagram is really hard. First, you gotta know how to word your content to make sure that it clearly shows how amazeballs your offer is. And then you also have to know how to craft the content to make sure it appeases the algorithm gods so it actually gets seen by the people most likely to buy it. My goal is to help moms help their families through their online businesses. That is why I made Carousels That Sell. Carousels That Sell is a collection of 7 Instagram carousels and captions that have made me over $20,000. So I turn them into plug-and-play templates so that you can get the same results. Carousels That Sell is super easy to use, so you can easily create and schedule the content, and will help sell your offers for you while you're off playing with your kids. Grab the templates that have made me over $20K for only $27 at sociallyyours.biz/carousels-that-sell so you can grow your business bank account faster than your kid outgrows their clothes.